come on.
You gonna leave me all alone here with Jose Canseco?
Welcome to IAYTD and welcome to our review discussion for Deadpool. This is filled with spoilers, so this is everything. We're going to spoil everything. So either you don't care or you've seen Deadpool and want to talk about it. So let's dive into it. The story I mentioned is a little predictable because it is very much how Wade Wilson gets these powers. He has to eventually save the day, and it's kind of predictable, but I thoroughly enjoyed the journey. It was really hilarious. I thought TJ Miller killed it as kind of this bartender at this secret underground mercenary bar kind of thing. He nailed it. I thought Negasonic Teenage Warhead was a perfect fit. Her abilities were really cool, and there's not many movies in this universe that are going to pick these obscure characters, and Deadpool was a perfect choice for her. And then Colossus. Colossus is the only recognizable X-Men in the movie, but I thought they nailed it. His fight with Angel Dust was awesome. At first, she knocked him out, and I was like, oh God, is that going to be it for Colossus? Is that it? But it wasn't. They get some really good fights in. And this is the Colossus that I've wanted this whole time. That he is the goody two-shoes and he delivers a lot of monologues about being good and choosing right. And it makes sense for him. It's like perfect for his character, but it also serves as a joke in contrast with Deadpool. So I thought it worked amazingly. So kudos for doing Colossus justice. In terms of the X-Men in this universe that they're now creating, I thought it did a great job of connecting, that it showed the X-Mansion. They made a lot of jokes about the other X-Men films and the line about which Xavier were we, going to go see, McAvoy or, Stewart. Like a lot of little inside jokes about the X-Men films. It didn't tell us too much about who else is kind of doing what at the time, so it leaves them open to when they start doing current day X-Men films again, they have a lot of freedom. That they can say, okay, let's figure out the team. Really, we don't know much. But it gave us enough to establish that Deadpool exists in this world. In terms of villains, Ajax and Angel Dust were kind of whatever. Like, Ajax was cool and his fight scenes were cool and, everything. But, was he just doing this for the money? Is that the only reason that he's kind of doing these experiments? And after the whole thing explodes and blows up on him, what is he doing? I didn't really understand. I was kind of like, no, kind of uninspiring. And Angel Dust, I was like, is she getting paid to do this? Is she a bodyguard? Is she under the slave, whatever that they talked about? They put her under control. I don't know kind of why she was doing that. So the heroes were great. The villains just felt a little flat to me. But that's fine, because really we just needed bodies to kind of soak up the damage that Deadpool could deal. And that worked. I want to talk for a second about the structure of the movie, because I think that's really interesting, that it's not a typical chronological story, that the current present day action is going, then they take breaks to go back and kind of tell his origin. And that's interesting. But it also means that some of the action we saw in the trailers happens in basically the climax of the movie. And I found myself kind of knowing where things were going because of what scenes hadn't shown up yet. That I was like, okay, I know that Deadpool has to get Colossus, to do this scene. So I was kind of waiting for those things to happen. And, I wish maybe they had saved some of that and not shown it in the trailers. When I saw the trailers, I didn't think it gave anything away because I thought maybe it happened early. But it was the final action scene. So that was a little weird, just because you can't help but think about well, that hasn't happened yet. So that must be what happens next. Just a weird choice, I guess, for the trailers. The movie, it didn't do anything wrong, but the trailers maybe showed too much of the last bit of the movie, too much of that. In terms of humor, a lot of it worked. A lot of it was hilarious. Like, I need to see the film again because I was laughing and missed the follow-up jokes. That I would just be dying and they were still going. So I need to see it again to catch all those kind of aftershock jokes. But the movie was hilarious. Ryan Reynolds just embodied this character and it was perfect. It just nailed it. One thing I really appreciated about Deadpool, which I did not expect, was the depth of the actual romantic story. That I didn't know that it was going to be that serious at times. And it's not super serious, right? You've seen it, hopefully most of you. But the times when Wade is following the love of his life, but he's afraid to talk to her because of the way he looks. So he's kind of like in the distance, afraid, embarrassed. He's in the bathroom of the club, like trying to get up the nerve to talk to her. And that was just a deeper place than I was expecting the movie to go. That I thought it would be like, hey, I'm scarred, I'm Deadpool. But instead it was really him conflicted with even allowing her to see his face. Which I thought was an interesting move and gave the movie more depth than I was expecting. That there was actually a significant kind of romantic arc. And I use romantic loosely because it's a very strange relationship, but it's more heartfelt than I was expecting. And I think that was awesome to fit into a movie that is so crude, violent, intense, but then there is a realistic love story there that I was not expecting. The only other thing I really want to talk about in terms of spoilers is the after credits scene. And this isn't really a spoiler because they've already kind of come out and talked about this. In the after credits scene, they kind of announce Deadpool 2, which isn't really a secret because I think they've announced that they've greenlit the movie already, which is rare, but awesome. And then they say that Cable will be appearing. So a lot of you are going to be like, what is this? So probably over the weekend, I'll make a basic introduction video for Cable that you can share with your friends that see that scene and say, what does that mean? My job here as a channel is to help bridge the gap between fans, hardcore fans, and then casual fans. People that see these movies and say, I really want to learn about Deadpool and Cable, but I don't know what that is. And so to help, educate those people that are kind of on the fence. So I'll probably put out some videos about Cable, about what that movie might look like, things like that in the coming weeks. But super exciting because Cable opens up kind of potential with X-Force, and there's more time travel. There's a lot of kind of cool storylines that Cable is involved with. So there's a lot of different ways that they could go with that, which is really exciting. So that is it. Super brief, but my basic thoughts about some spoilers in the movie. But this is now where we can talk about it. So down in the comments, spoil everything. Tell us about your favorite jokes. Tell us about your favorite scenes. Tell us about what you might expect from the sequel. Down in the comments, go crazy, talk to each other. I'll try to answer comments as much as I can to really engage in what this movie was about, what we loved about it, what we didn't love about it, and what could have made this movie maybe better. Some people have suggestions. Put those in the comments. Go wild, and we'll see you soon next time on IAYTD.
Oh, no, finish your tweet. Go get her, Tiger.